It is hot. Hey guys, welcome back. I am Jason Salyer. This is Survivopedia. And let's say you've got to camp out in the middle of an open field, right? You've got to find some shelter from the sun because it's baking you. I've had to camp in the middle of open areas quite a few times. I mean, where I live right now, this is Appalachia. This is the Appalachian Mountains. There's trees everywhere. Shade is not really a problem. It's finding an open spot is sometimes a problem. But I have camped in the desert before. I've camped in the middle of open fields before, just because I've been forced to for whatever reason. And it's really easy. And I normally camp with just a tarp type shelter. I don't have a tent or anything like that. So it's really easy to set those up in an open field. All you really need is a stick and a stake and some cordage. If you've got those three things, you're good to go. You can use a trekking pole. That works really good. You can use ski poles. That works fine. You can use really anything. It doesn't matter. As long as you got something with a little bit of height, just a few feet long, you can make your shelter happen. I generally keep the neck of the hood of my poncho goosenecked up like that, tied up, so I can use it as a shelter pretty quickly. I also have some easy tie-out points on the end of my poncho, these short pieces of cordage, so it makes it easy to set it up as a shelter as well. And if I wanted to wear it as an actual poncho, as rain gear, I just undo that really, really quickly in about 3 seconds and throw the thing over my head. And since I keep those little tie-outs, this little piece of bank line on the corners of my poncho, it makes it really quick, really, really easy to set this shelter up in a hurry. So I have my trekking pole or a little sapling or ski pole or whatever it is that you want to tie off to. I have that stuck in the ground. I've got one of these corners hooked up to it, and lots of ways to skin a cat, but this is the easiest way that I found to do this. I take a loop that's on the corner of my poncho, put my fingers through it, I double it over, like so. That gives me a lark's head knot like that, and it tightens up on itself like that or around my pole. So I'll take that lark's head knot, put it over the tip of my pole, just like that, snug it up, and that's good to go for now. I'll just stick my stake, one of my really rough stakes that I've cut just really quickly with a machete. Nothing fancy, no carving necessary. And I'll stick that in the ground loosely to start with. I'll do the same thing on the other two sides. I can take that bowline loop, I can put it over my stake, just like that, on top of the other cordage. And then I can pull on it, put some tension on that, and that lifts my shelter up just a little bit. And this guy line here is gonna keep my shelter nice and secure, and I'll just stake it down right here. I'll take my stake, I'll stab it in the ground, approximately where it needs to go, at an angle. Always angle it towards the shelter. You want it at about, I don't know, let's say a 45-degree angle, give or take, because that will keep the stake from getting pulled out so easily. If I was to put it straight in the ground like this, it would be very easy to pull it out of the ground. I'll put a little bit of tension on my line. I'll wrap it around my stake towards the bottom, around my line, back around the stake, and then I'll just give it a simple half hitch. Bam. I'll go around the stake towards the bottom. I'll go over my line, wrap around it, and then back around the stake. And then I'll just put a simple half hitch. So I'll go around the main line and through that loop that I've created, and then I'll pull it tight like that. And that's really all it needs. The friction of the line will hold itself. If you wanted to do a second one, you definitely could. You could do a second half hitch on there, but it's really not necessary. It's not going to go anywhere. So now I've got a quick, simple, easy to set up shelter that's going to get me out of the rain, get me out of the weather, keep me away from the sun, and it'll work just fine. Now it's a little saggy, you can see, because I've only got this one point raised up. What I can do is get myself a prop stick. If I get a prop stick, I can get this to raise up I can get myself quite a bit more head clearance in here, and it will also lift up the sides a little bit and give me some more ventilation, so if it is really hot, we can get some airflow and not be cooked under this thing. You can do it like a lean-to. Maybe I'll show you that. Yeah, we'll do a lean-to. That's what we'll do. Stand by. Here's a cool product from TRC Outdoors, based out of the UK. Basically, it's a ready-to-go, easy-to-deploy guy line or tie out, whatever you want to call it. You can just secure this by one end permanently, or semi-permanently, I guess. Doesn't have to be permanent. Semi-permanently with that same lark's head knot to the corner of my tarp. I wouldn't want to do this probably for a poncho if you're going to be wearing it, because it would just get tangled up and stuff. But for a tarp that you're going to be using as a shelter solely, this is a really, really good idea. So you've got that secured there with that lark's head knot to the corner, to that grommet. And then when you're ready to deploy, you just start pulling. And you've got this long piece of cordage that's got these incremental tie-out knots, basically, so you can just adjust it as needed. Make a loop. You'll stick a section of the tag in through, and that is what will go around your stick that's supporting your the corner of your poncho or your tarp and raising it up. You'll pull that tight, and it won't slip up or down on your stake or on your pole. So once I've got it secured around my pole like that, I'll just position it where I want. Take my stake, stick it through one of these loops, any of them, doesn't matter which one really. This one will work. Get some little bit extra tension, more than what I want, and then I'll stick it in the ground, like so, and I'm done. So there's my simple lean-to shelter with 2 poles, 4 stakes, I believe it is, and just a couple pieces of cordage. And I have got myself a nice sun shelter, rain shelter, whatever it is, in a really, really open area. If you wanted to give yourself a little bit more headroom, here we go. Get a blunt stick. You can take your knife and dull that up a little bit more, or you can just take your hat or whatever. Hat works really, really good, especially if you use the bill portion. Stick it right there where the hood is, and you can give yourself a whole lot more room inside your shelter. I can stretch out, lay in the shade. There's plenty of ventilation happening underneath here, and I'm just loving life in a wide open space like this. Oh, it's hot. It's so hot. Hey guys, well, I'm Jason Salyer. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up for me and subscribing if you haven't done so already. Leave comments, lots of comments. Tell me what you think about this little trick of the trade, and I'd be really grateful for that. I can't wait to see y'all in the next one.